Okay, what I'm going to try and do is give you just a little snippet of history at each stop we're going to make, just to give you an idea of the rich background and history that this area of the country has. And there are four main rivers in Northumberland, the Tyne, the Coquet, the Aln and the Tweed. We're starting this tour not in Northumberland but North Tyneside, but it's sort of all part of this northeast coast. Behind me is the mouth of the River Tyne, and on this side is North Shields, and on that side is South Shields. In the background behind me is Tynemouth Priory, which is built on the north bank of the headland at the mouth of the River Tyne. Tynemouth Priory was founded in the 7th century by King Edwin of Northumbria. It became a place for pilgrimage after 3 kings were buried here. It was St Oswin, King of Deira, King Osred of Northumbria, and then Malcolm III of Scotland after he was killed in a battle up here in Northumberland. The Grand Hotel was built in 1872 as the seaside retreat of the Duchess of Northumberland. In 1877 it became a hotel and the favourite holiday place for Stan Laurel, the comedian. The annex adjacent to the hotel is called Laurel House, named after him. A bankrupt entrepreneur came to Whitley Bay, which at the time was a growing Victorian seaside resort. He came with an entertainment troupe of toreadors and they began performing in Whitley Park. After 2 years he had enough money to build what is now known today as the Spanish City, the white building you can see behind. The toreadors are gone now, and the Spanish City has undergone a refurbishment recently, but it still remains the entertainment centre of the town. Northumberland and Durham has many splendid castles and stately homes, perhaps more than anywhere else in Britain. Families of nobility connected to the monarchy still own many of them. Family names such as Blackett, Trevelyan, Ogle, Ridley, Joycey, Percy and Delaval. The land here was originally given to the Delaval family in 1080 for their help in the Battle of Hastings. In 1700, a very wealthy Admiral George Delaval bought the estate from his bankrupt cousin and commissioned the current buildings you can see behind me in 1720. Over the centuries, the family exploited coal, glass and salt on the estate, and in 1764 they built a harbour to export their goods, and this is known today as Seaton Sluice. Okay, well, we've officially crossed over the county boundary from North Tyneside into Northumberland, and we're actually now in Blythe. So this beach behind me is called South Beach at Blythe. The town itself has fallen into decline since the closing of the mines here in the 1960s. But it still has a functioning harbour, which is in the distance behind me, and it still has a market. Newbiggin was founded by early Christians and dates back to the 11th century. It was the third largest grain port in England after London and Hull. After helping Henry III in his battle against the Scots, the village was granted tax-free trade for 1 week in every year. The church is Saxon with a Norman tower added and is a well-known landmark, as well as the newly erected sculpture in the foreground, which was added about 5 years ago. This is Amble. The name translates from the Gaelic Am Beal, meaning tidal inlet. It was nothing more than a collection of farms and cottages on the Percy family's estate at Walkworth until the Victorian era, when it was used to export coal and other minerals. Campbell has a fully functioning harbour, as you can see, but it relies mostly on tourism for its livelihood. The local authority have developed a marina here. These small craft businesses have been introduced and are all thriving. The town centre still hosts a busy community of individual shops. And it's also well known for its fish and chips. Warkworth Castle, which you can see behind me, was built around 1200 and it was owned by the Percy family, Earls and Dukes of Northumberland, and they were the wealthiest and most powerful in northern England. The bridge you can see in the background is originally Roman, and it formed part of the river crossing in the Roman road network north of Hadrian's Wall. A new, more modern bridge takes the road traffic nowadays, but both bridges span the River Coquet. The first records show a port here in Alnmouth from 1152, and it probably served for the wealthy trades and businesses based in Alnwick nearby. It sits at the mouth of the River Aln, hence its name. The cross is further evidence of early Christianity importance here in Northumberland. This is Howick Bay. No historical importance here, more geological importance. What you're looking at here is what's called the windsill. It's a large expanse of molten rock stretching right across northern England. It emerged 295 million years ago when earth movements allowed the molten rock to spew out, and just like the Giant's Causeway in Ireland, it cooled on reaching the sea into hexagonal columns. This is Craster, and it dates back to prehistoric times and gets its name from the quarry above the village, Crow Castra, meaning crow's camp. The harbour was built by the Craster family. They owned most of the land around here, and it was built to export the volcanic stone, which was obviously used for building all over the north of England. Dunstanburgh Castle was built in 1313 by the Earl of Lancaster, and then 100 years later was captured and recaptured several times during the War of the Roses. It was left ruined and has remained so to this day. Bamborough village is famous and known all over the world. The site where the castle sits was a Celtic fort dating back to 420. The site has passed hands many times, from Celts to Britons to Saxons, and then the Danes who actually destroyed it. The square tower you see today was built around 1010 by the Normans when they came. Around 1090 it became the property of the monarchy. By the 17th century it had fallen into disrepair and was sold to Lord Armstrong. He completed its restoration to what you see today, and it still belongs to the Armstrong family. Bamborough is also famous for Grace Darling. She was the daughter of a lighthouse keeper. At 4 a.m. on the 7th of September 1838, during a violent storm, the steamship Forfarshire had run aground on the rocks near Sea Houses. Grace, who was only 18 years old, and her dad, launched a small wooden lifeboat and pulled off an heroic rescue in atrocious weather. Grace became a heroine, and the rescue inspired the formation of the RNLI. A museum commemorates her heroism, and her tomb is here in the churchyard opposite at St Aidan's. Lindisfarne is more commonly known as Holy Island, and it's where Christianity in northern England under St Aidan started around 634. A monastery was built and it became the centre for Christian evangelism under St Cuthbert, who settled here after Aidan. It is where the Lindisfarne Gospels were written. The island was first sacked by the Danes and then later by the Normans when they invaded the coast. The priory was rebuilt after they left and remained until 1542, when Henry VIII destroyed the monastery during his destruction of the Catholic religion. He instructed that the stones from the destroyed monastery were used to build the castle in 1550, which he needed as a stronghold in the north. Today the town of Berwick sits just on the south side of the border with Scotland. It had been part of Northumbria from the end of the Roman occupation. In 1018 the Scots took it until Edward I took it back in 1292, only for it to be recaptured in 1318 by Robert the Bruce. It was the scene of many bloody battles between the Scots and the English before it finally became English in 1492. It has connections to Mary Queen of Scots and Elizabeth I.